Well, welcome to Onondaga Community College for tonight's matchup between the Onondaga Flames and the Olean Oilers. I'm Morgan Chapman alongside Eric Moon as always. And Eric, Gunnar Groen getting the start on the mound tonight should be a fantastic matchup on hand.
Yeah, Garone the starter tonight for the Flames. Third appearance of the year, third start. He's pitched 9 innings to this point in his two combined starts. 5 runs allowed, 3 of them earned. He's allowed 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Contact pitcher. He doesn't strike out a whole lot of batters, but he forces contact to get outs.
He sure does, and going around the outfield and infield for you to get you set who's starting where. So Groen's on the mound, and then Peterson's behind the plate. Mike Stefan over there at first base. At second, Brian Hart. Mike Ruggiero making his start, or coming back into the lineup, making a start at shortstop. Third base, A.J. DiFilippo, as always. Going from left to right in the outfield, Adam Gordon, Jack Chernow, and Colin Matthews is in the outfield for the Flames tonight. And with this matchup, this is probably our stellar matchup, especially with the infield the way it is with Ruggiero and Brian Hart. We have a whole bunch of players that could play shortstop or second base, but these two guys have impressed me the most this season. I know we haven't seen Ruggiero a lot, Eric, but he's really been impressive the time we have seen him.
Well, we haven't, like you said, you haven't seen a whole lot of him, but we've seen good things out of him to this point. He made a couple appearances off the bench in the last few games after pulling his hamstring on opening night. He got the start as the shortstop. He was the leadoff hitter in the order against the Saltcats on opening night. That's what some of us forget because he's been out of the lineup for so long. Now he's back at the starting lineup. He's back at 100%. We'll see what he has tonight.
We'll see what he has tonight as we look to get the first pitch underway. It's 7:04 p.m. here at Onondaga Community College, getting ready for the first pitch. So Brian Tago getting the start in the number 1 position for the Oilers as he's playing center field tonight, wearing number 22. And Eric, I know you have a little bit more information on this guy.
Yeah, he used to play for the Baltimore Dodgers the last 2 summers of the Cal Ripken League.
First pitch in there for a strike as the home umpire delays and calls it in there. Really nice first pitch from Gunnar Groen.
Yeah, and with Baltimore the last 2 summers, he's been a solid hitter at the top of the order. He had a couple good seasons with the Dodgers, now with the Olean Oilers of the NYCBL.
Second pitch from Groen, cut on down the first base line. Should be easy pickings for Mike Stefan. Can of corn at first base, and there's the first inning, or the first out of the inning.
And that's what you like to see out of Gunnar Groen. It's what you expect to see right off the bat. He's pitching to contact. That's how he gets his outs. He doesn't strike out a whole lot of batters. He pitches to contact. He makes the hitter roll over a breaking ball, for example. Tago rolled over a breaking ball to first base. It was an easy out.
Here's Dom Saucier coming up next for the Oilers, playing second base tonight. That pitch bounces into the turf for a ball. But, Eric, you're absolutely right about Gunnar Groen. He doesn't strike out a whole bunch of people, but he does every time pitchers, as the rain begins to fall quite heavily here at Onondaga Community College. But Gunnar Groen, he draws contact but never gives up the big shot. Let's see how he can do in the rain as this one's popped skied up. See if Stefan can make a play, and he does. Mike Stefan with a nice adjustment, and there's a pop out for the second out of the inning as the rain continues to fall here. Hopefully it'll just be a quick shower that's passing. We had the thunderstorm early on that was heavy rain coming down, but cleared up just in time for the ball game. And, of course, right when we throw the second or third pitch of this one, rain starts to fall.
Thunderstorms are not, out of the forecast for the next 2 hours, but after 9 p.m. should be clear here at Onondaga Community College.
That pitch from Gunnar Groen in there for a strike as Cole Hollins steps up to the plate here for the Oilers. He's the designated hitter tonight for the Oilers. Plays his college ball at Canisius College. Him and Mike Stefan and Jake Zarat must at least know each other. Who knows what their relationship's like, as this one's out to Adam Gordon and left. See if he can get there. He does with a sliding play. Adam Gordon. So 3 up, 3 down for Gunnar Groen, and looks like the rain's going to just cool off just a little bit here. We're going to step aside on team line. We'll be right back, everybody. Well, welcome back to the Onondaga Flames live stream on Teamline. I'm Morgan Chapman alongside Eric Moon, and Eric's going to dive in a little further to the rain we're seeing here at OCC.
Yeah, and so the rain is falling pretty solidly right now, but with the turf field here at OCC, as long as the rain isn't too hard and the Thunder and Lightning stay away, they can keep playing tonight.
All right, thanks, Eric. With Kyle Warner on the mound here, getting the nod for the Oilers, and Jack Chernow digging his cleats into the right batter's box, I should say, as he has been a very valuable addition to this ball club. First pitch from Warner, going to be outside for a ball, but ever since we've had the addition of Jack Chernow in the lineup, he's been very solid in center field, and he's been very solid at the plate as well. Second pitch finds the lower half for a strike, and him and DiFilippo both have really been big additions for this Flames team.
Yeah, Chernow in 5 games, he's almost garnered 20 at-bats to this point already, has 8 hits on the year, his batting average above 400.
As he takes a hack at that one, missing though. Count goes to 1-2. Rain continues to fall here at OCC, but I don't think it's enough, like Eric mentioned, to have a delay. We'll have to see if it stays as heavy as it is. That one's held a little bit longer by Bemo, the catcher, but either way, misses the zone for a ball.
Luckily, there's a huge canopy over most of the seats behind home plate, so
Yes.
fans can sit under the canopy.
This one chopped on, over to left field, should be an easy out, and there it is. Doherty out there for the play, first out of the inning. Bringing up Mike Ruggiero. Mike Ruggiero is someone we mentioned, got the nod night number 1 against the Syracuse Saltcats, pulled a hamstring in that ball game. We spoke to his father yesterday just a little bit. He was saying he had to fly Mike home, get him right, because up here just they wasn't getting the right treatment. Not that there was anything wrong with the treatment he was getting up here, but back home they just knew how to fix Mike just a little bit better. First pitch missing. Oh, it's in there for a strike as the home plate umpire. I'm going to have to wait a little bit here, Eric, because he
The home
seems
plate
to have
umpire is
delay.
deliberate with his strike calls tonight. I'm noticing that very early on.
Yeah, he is. This one's cut on and missed from Ruggiero, but we expect him to make an impact in this ball game. I think it might be a little bit of an adjustment period for him, especially at the plate as he sat out a couple games. That one in there, he's going to strike out looking. First strikeout victim for Kyle Warner. So as I mentioned, I think Ruggiero's just going to have to, as his father mentioned to us, Eric, get used to game speed.
Yeah, and with Ruggiero, he's in a tougher spot than most of the players on this Flames roster because with the amount of time he missed due to his injury, he's still getting a feel for the league.
Right.
Meanwhile, the rest of the Flames are already a quarter of the way through the season.
First pitch for Colin Matthews is in there for a strike, and I really like the addition of Colin Matthews in the 3 spot here in this lineup because he's proven he can rip the ball. Second pitch from Kyle Warner, cut on. Of course, when I say it, it's skied up. Looks like the right fielder is going to have a play at it. Makes the catch as Webb, and that will retire the side. So 3 up, 3 down. That's how the first inning will go. We're going to step aside on Team Lane for a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we'll have the top of the second inning when we come back. Welcome back to the Onondaga Flames Team Line Stream. I'm Morgan Chapman alongside Eric Moon. And Eric, 3 up, 3 down for Gunnar Grow in the first inning. What do you expect from the second inning?
More of the same. I don't expect him to throw only 6 pitches in the second inning because the Oilers hitters have already seen him for at least 1 inning in this game, but I expect him to go back to the same formula, which is pitch to contact, get outs that way.
Well, this is Kevin Higgins digging his cleats in, getting set for this top of the second inning. And fans, you can see the rainbow. Could be a double rainbow over there to the left of it, Eric, but there's a rainbow on your screen. You might just be able to make it out at right field, but either way, Kevin Higgins, first pitch from Gunnar Grown in there for a strike, and we saw the rain early on. Looks like the rain will go away as the time being, as it looks like it's still falling just a little bit, but now it's more of a mist. So 0-1 count here for Higgins, the shortstop this evening. Second pitch missing outside for a ball. Kevin Higgins plays his college ball. He's one of the Bonnies. We've seen a bunch of Bonnies in this team. St. Bonaventure University. He's batting a .243 on the season, has 8 RBIs. From North Attleboro, Massachusetts, is Kevin Higgins. Just finished his sophomore campaign at St. Bonaventure. This one's cut on. Looks like Adam Gordon has a good play on it. Backing up, he makes the play out there at left field, and there's one down.
Hey, he's pitching to contact again because against the first 4 batters, Gunnar Grown, when you pitch to contact, you can't throw anything over the plate that's hittable.
Right.
And so far, he's throwing unhittable pitches
He sure
over
is.
the plate. That's how he's getting his outs.
I tell you what, if he can continue this all summer long, going back to Pepperdine, he's going to have a ton of confidence, especially he didn't get that many innings at Pepperdine this year, but having the summer he's having so far is going to be tremendous for him. First pitch for Grown is going to miss high for a ball. This is Jimmy Webb stepping up to the plate here. And where does Jimmy Webb play his college ball, Eric?
Lock Haven University, 25 at-bats in 12 games with them this season.
Second pitch cut on. Looks like Chernow's going to be ranging back. And he's under it to make the second out of the inning. So how about that, Eric? Right when we saw 3 up, 3 down, we already have 2 away, and Gunnar Grown's only thrown, a total of 4 pitches.
5 pitches, actually. Webb got a pretty good hold of it, but he got under it pretty well, and it was turned into a routine flyout for Jack Chernow.
Well, here's the catcher, Mike Beimel, number 20, setting in, trying to get these Oilers at least a base runner here in the top of the second. Gunnar Grown, easy pickings right back to him, over to Mike Stefan, and 3 up, 3 down once again. We're going to step aside for a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the bottom of the second inning here on Team Line. Well, welcome back to the Onondaga Flames Team Line live stream. I'm Morgan Chapman alongside Eric Moon. And Eric, 3 up, 3 down twice for Gunnar Grown. Can Kyle Warner have the same success?
Well, first of all, I'm 0 for 1 on predictions tonight. I said Gunnar Grown in the second inning would have to throw a little more than 6 pitches. He threw exactly 6 again.
Right.
To get a 1-2-3 inning. He's just been outstanding in the first 2 innings tonight. And Kyle Warner, the same thing. He threw 10 pitches in the first inning, but an easy 1-2-3 inning for him as well.
Easy pickings. Let's see if A.J. DiFilippo can be the changing factor in that, as that pitch is in there for a strike. DiFilippo, as we've mentioned several times this season, he's from Columbia University, batting .300 on the season. That one's chopped down the first base line, foul, and the count quickly goes to 0-2. But DiFilippo has been very consistent for this team. He's 6 for 20, 5 RBIs. He's drawn 4 walks and has only struck out 4 times. So he's done a really nice job. This one's cut on and missed, though, and there's a strikeout. The second strikeout victim for Kyle Warner.
Well, frankly, what both teams need offensively right now is a quality at bat.
Yeah.
Because only Jack Cherno's at bat in the first inning went more than 3 pitches.
Right, and that's exactly when we talked to Coach Mike Cordero about what he expects from this lineup is just quality at-bats is what they measure. They don't really care about their percentage overall. They just want to make sure that they get a quality at-bat, and they try to keep track of it down in the dugout. This is Adam Gordon laying down the bunt. I'm not sure if he's going to get there, but he does have speed. Doesn't look like he was on his horse, though, and that's 2 up, 2 down.
Well, he was trying the slap bunt, I guess, the other way towards third base, but he got a little too much of it, and it was an easy roller back to the pitcher, Warner. Easy put out for the second out of the inning.
I like the approach, though, because Adam Gordon has the speed to beat that out, just not the placement he wanted on that bunt. Either way, bringing up Trace Peterson, the catcher tonight. For over the last couple of days, Eric, Brandon, and myself have been mentioning he's in the battle with Jake Zarat, getting the nod here tonight behind the plate. First pitch for Peterson in there for a strike, and last night, let me tell you, Trace Peterson had a heck of a ball game. Ended up going 2 for 4. With 2 RBIs, this one's chopped down the third base line. Silky mitts for Mike Cordero, as I always have to bring that in. I'm going to give credit where credit is due, and that's an Eric Moon thing, but I'm sure Eric doesn't mind me mentioning it.
Oh, of course. You can do it. You know, it's not just limited to me. I'm spreading the love,
Spread the love, says Eric Moon. 0-2 on Trace Peterson, cut on over the second baseman, so it looks like 3 up, 3 down once again, where it's a quick ball game so far, as we're going to step aside, but when we come back, Eric Moon's going to be taking over the play-by-play duties. I'll be rolling into the color commentary position. We'll be right back here on Team Line.
Welcome back to OCC Stadium for the third inning here on Team Line. Eric Moon, Morgan Chapman here with you on the call for tonight's game between the Oilers and the Flames. Both teams held off the scoreboard with authority to begin this game. The game has only lasted not even 20 minutes to this point. We're already through 2 innings. Each team has gone down 1, 2, 3. And Logan O'Connell, the first baseman, will lead things off in the top of the third inning for Olean out of the University of Rochester. He faces Gunnar Groen, who has thrown exactly a dozen pitches through his first 2 innings on the mound. And the first one to the righty O'Connell is a fastball that finds the outside corner for strike one. The count is 0-1.
And Eric, O'Connell really hasn't had the strongest season with the Oilers so far. He's 2 for 16, batting a 125 with one lone RBI.
And Groen has the sign he's ready to deal the 0-1 to O'Connell. And he chops one down the first baseline. Groen is going to pick it up. He'll underhand it to the bag for Mike Stefan. And that is the first out of the third inning. And Morgan, he just keeps up that torrid pace on the mound. You know, quick at-bats, getting outs.
Sure is, and that's the second play we've seen him make from the bag. I love the hustle, and I like the awareness as well. He doesn't hesitate. He knows that the ball could be fair. He's not going to wait it out and see if it's going to roll foul. Gets there, gets the quick out, and doesn't have to deal with the batter.
Well, through the first 7 at-bats of the game, the Olean Oilers, each batter has not lasted more than 3 pitches at the plate. The man is Niall Doherty as he chops one on the first pitch towards shortstop as Ruggiero picks it up. Throw is in the dirt, but picked up by Stefan for the out. And 3 pitches have resulted in the first 2 outs of this third inning. More of the same.
And Eric, I love the approach by A.J. DiFilippo, especially on those soft grounders, because he charges them, but then realizes that Ruggiero has a better angle to make that play, gets out of the way in time. Ruggiero making the play to Mike Stefan. Beautiful baseball.
Doherty was hustling down the line, so it turned out to be a pretty close play at first base. Now Joey Battaglia, the third baseman, up to the plate for the Oilers. Battaglia out of Niagara University. First one of him is a swing and miss at a good fastball on the upper inner part of the plate. It's strike one. The count is 0-1. Battaglia on the year. Actually, first at-bats of the year are tonight for Joey Battaglia. 0-1 is hit in the air pretty deep towards center field, but Cherno only had to take a couple steps back, now to his right, and he makes the catch for the final out of the third inning. Only 5 pitches needed this time for Gunnar Groen to retire the Oilers 1-2-3. It is the Olean Oilers 0 and the Onondaga Flames 0 here on Team Line. Welcome back to OCC Stadium for the bottom of the third inning. Bottom of the order for the Flames. Brian Hart, the second baseman, to lead things off against Kyle Warner, who we haven't talked a whole lot about him tonight with the way Gunnar Groen is pitching, but Kyle Warner has been just as good.
Sure has. Plays his college ball at Canisius College. Coming into this ball game, he's only pitched 4.2 innings. Gave up 5 hits this season, 5 strikeouts, and an ERA of 7.71, but that doesn't really tell the whole story this early in the season.
First one to Hart is a fastball well above the zone for ball 1. The count is 1-0. Warner, a teammate of Jeff DiStefano and Jake Zurat, as well as Mike Stefan at Canisius College.
How can we forget Mike Stefan, as his father has probably introduced himself to me twice, and to Eric, he recognized him the second time, but big blunder on my part.
1-1, Hart squares up to bunt, lays it down in front of the catcher, Beimel. The throw to first is in time. A nice play by Mike Beimel from behind home plate. And the Oilers get a quick first out in the third inning.
Well, you can't replace Bryant Hart in the lineup, Eric, because of the intangibles, especially what he brings to the table on the defensive side. This guy can make all the plays. Obviously not able to beat the throw out there, but really nice bunt attempt to lead off the bottom of the third.
And here comes an all-Canisius matchup right here. Mike Stefan, who we just mentioned, facing his college teammate Kyle Warner. The first pitch fastball is on the inside corner for strike one, the count 0-1. And going back to Warner for a second, but right after this pitch, Stefan swings and misses for strike two. The count is 0-2. Warner is majoring in physical education / sports studies at Canisius. Pitched in 11 games this season. Was 0-2 in 15 innings, 15 and a third innings. As the 0-2 to Stefan is fouled away to the right side. It's out of play.
I tell you what, Eric, if Mike Stefan strikes out to Kyle Warner, it's going to be a long season for him next year.
Well, he might get another chance to face him later in the game, the
That's
way
true.
Warner's pitching tonight. Again, the only meeting this season between the Oilers and the Flames, as the fastball just misses the outside corner for ball one, the count 1-2. Something we haven't seen a whole lot of tonight right here. A 5-pitch at-bat coming up.
Yeah.
Quick 1-2 is a breaking ball that just misses
Oof.
the outside corner.
I tell you what, when Warner walks off like that, the home plate umpire cannot really enjoy seeing that, so we'll see if that changes the strike zone.
Quality at bat here for Stefan as the
Oof.
2-2 is a fastball low and in on him. That finds the backstop, and the count runs full now to 3 balls and 2 strikes. First time we've seen a batter and at bat with more than 5 pitches tonight.
Well, how about Mike Stefan fighting off the foul ball, staying live after he was down 0-2. Now he's in a perfect position to draw a walk.
The payoff from Warner is hit high in the air but foul and out of play to the right side. And the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And Stefan's just making the most of this at bat right now. He's making Kyle Warner work, and I mean, when you're going against your college teammate, it has to give you a little bit more juice at the plate.
The second payoff is well outside and finds the backstop. The first base runner is on for either side tonight as Mike Stefan draws a 1-out walk here in the bottom of the third inning, which brings up the designated hitter, Jared Grosguth.
And Jared Grosguth, we saw him rip a bomb last night. So center field's listed about 415 or so, direct center from us, I would say. And then his was left center, so it was probably like 420 feet, I would say.
Well, that's out wherever you hit it in the ballpark because he just demolished that baseball. Once you heard the sound of the bat last night when he hit that home run, you knew that ball was going out.
Well, my favorite thing was your sign. You knew immediately that it was gone.
Fastball finds the inside corner for strike one. The count is 0-1.
Eric was to my right, and he wasn't even on the broadcast in the moment, but stood up immediately and started signaling the home run. And you knew it, it was gone.
I signaled the home run, but I didn't stand up.
You didn't. Excuse me.
Throw over to first is not in time. But then the throw back to Warner got away from him.
And you mentioned the errors in the pregame, Eric. Seeing a little bit of an error there, I mean, we'll see if that ever affects them. We saw some pass balls here already.
Another pickoff attempt to first is not in time. Warner has a pretty good pickup move, and now a balk is being called by the home plate umpire. Just as I said, it was a pretty good pickoff move. Kyle Warner is called for a balk, and Stefan is in scoring position. The manager for the Oilers, Brian O'Connell Jr., heading out to home plate to talk with the home plate umpire now.
And he has to be a little bit cautious with his words that he chooses for the home plate umpire. You definitely don't want to say anything to offend him because, again, that could change the strike zone on you real fast. But Mike Stefan advancing to second. Now we finally have a runner in scoring position, Eric.
Yeah, and going back to the balk very briefly, the rule is that there is a 45-degree angle coming off the rubber. Mm-hmm. The rubber. It's going down and to the right on your screen, and your foot has to be to the right of that angle. According to the home plate umpire, Warner's foot was on that line or not, as a throw down to second is not in time attempting to pick off Stefan. The pitch was up for ball one, and the count was up at a ball and a strike. So Warner planted his front foot a little too much towards home plate on that pickoff attempt, resulting in Stefan being awarded second base. Breaking ball well outside. Beimel was looking for that pickoff attempt again, but nobody was covering the second base bag.
And Eric, ever since Kyle Warner walked off the mound thinking that was a strike, he's lost focus. We've seen it. Now he's throwing some pass balls and another one way outside.
2-1. Finds the inside corner. Good pitch from Warner to even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Grosguth. The home run was his 4th hit of the year. And 19 at-bats as the 2-2 is popped up. Left side of the infield, the shortstop Higgins is under it, and he makes the catch for the second out of the 3rd inning. Staying at second base is Mike Stefan.
And after you hit a home run like that, Eric, I wonder if that changes your mindset because it shows you that, one, I have the ability to go out against any of these NYCBL players and hit a home run, but we'll see if that changes his approach at the plate as the game goes on.
Well, the rest of the night, after that home run, which came in his first at-bat to lead off the 3rd inning, drew a walk and struck out once. As now Jack Cherno, the center fielder, steps up to the plate. Top of the order for the Flames here. Lefty-lefty matchup against Warner again, and the pitch finds the upper part of the zone. For strike 1, the count is no balls and 1 strike. Cherno flied out to pretty shallow left field. Not terribly shallow, but pretty shallow left field to Niall Doherty. His first time up. 5-pitch at bat for him as the 0-1 is fouled off the netting on the left side and snagged with one hand by Mike Ruggiero off the netting. That is somebody with some silky mitts right there, Morgan Chapman.
I was waiting for you to mention it. He has the batting gloves on. Could be made of silk, who knows?
Meanwhile, at the plate, Cherno down in the count 0-2 to Warner with 2 outs and a runner on second. And he grounds one towards the right side, and it's going to get through for a base hit. Rounding third and heading home is Stefan. Here's the throw from Hollins. It is cut off. Stefan slides into home plate, and the Flames are on the board. It's 1-0 Onondaga.
Beautiful play by Jack Cherno. I didn't think he would get a nice piece of it, but he got just enough of the ball, getting it between the second baseman and the first baseman. Base hit, RBI single. Nice job.
3rd RBI of the season for Jack Cherno. And he opens the scoring in this one. First one of Mike Ruggiero is popped up on the bunt. Caught easily in foul territory by Beimel, and now retire the side. But not before the Flames get a base runner on a walk. And then an RBI single by Jack Cherno makes it 1-0 as it looks like Brian O'Connell Jr. got a warning or he got tossed from the ball game. We'll update you on that situation coming back for the 4th inning here on Team Line. Welcome back to OCC Stadium for the top of the 4th inning between the Olean Oilers and the Onondaga Flames. And an update on, here's Morgan with an update on the situation after the conclusion of the 3rd inning.
Well, this isn't confirmed yet, but seeing what's going on in the bullpen, it definitely has to be what happened. Kyle Warner, the starting pitcher for the Oilers, just got ejected from the ball game after the home plate umpire and him exchanged some words. Some coaches were out there trying to get an explanation, but a hothead for sure from Kyle Warner, and it's unfortunate because he was having a pretty decent ball game.
Yeah, and, the Flames got on the scoreboard, of course, in the bottom of the third inning. They lead it 1-0. After the RBI single from Jack Cherno, Gunnar Groen back to the mound. After getting the Oilers out of 1-2-3 in each of the first 3 innings, pitch was outside of Tago, who squared up the bunt but pulled it back.
And Eric, Brian Bizarro is warming up for the Oilers. We'll see if he comes into the ball game to confirm my reports.
1-0 count to Tago. Grounded out to first his first time up. And he'll take a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. And the count is no balls and 1 strike to him. Not a whole lot of action for Tago. This will be his 5th appearance of the season in the Oilers' 11th game. As the 1-1 here from Groen is popped up left side in foul territory, but it's going to get out of play. At strike 2, the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Oilers center fielder.
And how strong did he look when he was in that other league, Eric?
Well, he looked pretty good. Like I said, his batting average right now is similar to what it was in the Cal Ripken League with the Baltimore Dodgers, around 250, a little bit above that. A solid leadoff hitter in Baltimore, as time is called briefly. He's right at 250 now, but that's only in 12 at-bats in the year. He's 3 for 12 at the plate. He scored 4 runs, though. Good hitter at the plate when it comes to discipline. He's drawn 5 walks. As the breaking ball is fouled away to the left side. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he entered the game with 2 RBIs as well.
And correct me if I'm wrong, he's at the top of the lineup because of his speed, right?
Yeah, he's a speedy player for the Olean Oilers. Already with 3 stolen bases on the year, that leads the team. Olean, as a team, just 7 stolen bases. As the breaking ball is a beauty from Groen that just misses the outside corner. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And as the Flames faithful begin to heckle the home plate umpire, he's definitely not going to enjoy that. And I like the decision by Trace Peterson to hold it but not say anything.
2-2 from Groen is a jam shot foul to the left side. A nice pick by Brian O'Connell Jr., the third base coach.
And how many pitches is this at bat on?
6 pitches to this point.
Pretty
this next
solid
one will
at
be his
bat.
7th pitch, and it appears as Brian Tago's bat was broken on that jam shot. Inside out swing as the ball got the inside part of the bat, but went the opposite way.
Well, when you break your bat like that, I wonder if it switches your perspective, especially at the plate when you're holding a different bat that you weren't holding for the first 6 pitches.
Here's a 2-2 from Groen again, and the fastball finds the dirt for ball 3. The count runs 4 now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And for the first time tonight, an Oilers hitter has lasted more than 3 pitches in an at-bat, as Tago learned his lesson from the first at-bat, just trying to figure out how to solve Gunnar Groen on the mound, and he's worked the count full. As a 3-2 is swung on and fouled off the catcher Peterson. Got behind him, and the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gunnar Groen has thrown more pitches in this at-bat, 8 total to this point, than he has in each of the first 3 innings. Only took him 17 pitches to retire the side in the first 3 innings of the ball game. 6 each in the first and second innings, 5 in the third.
Even if Tago strikes out here, he's had a really successful at-bat. You can't be mad.
3-2, line towards second, and it's caught on a line by Brian Hart. That's the first out of the 4th inning. Now the batter is the second baseman, Dom Cecere. Cecere, a good season so far for him. He's appeared in all but 1 game for the Oilers, hitting at .375. 12 of 32 at the plate. Good discipline, too. He's drawn 6 walks.
He scored 9 runs as well, Eric, so if he gets on, this is a guy that knows how to get home.
First one to Cecere is a fastball that just misses the outside corner. That's ball 1. The count is 1-0.
And with the start that Gunnar Groen's had to this ball game, he might go a little bit further than he was expected to go in this game. We'll see if pitching coach Robert Anders will leave him in the ball game.
1-0 is the count to Dom Cecere, the second baseman. And here it is from Groen. It's a fastball that finds the zone for strike 1. The count evens up at a ball and a strike. Sasir out of Mercyhurst College. He's one of 2 players on this Oiler roster from Mercyhurst. Graduate of Williamsville North High School. Majoring in biology at Mercyhurst. Something I struggled with in high school.
Fun facts.
1-1 fouled away to the right side.
And Mercyhurst, they're a competitive school. They're a Division II program. It's kind of near Buffalo-ish, and they compete in their league and they do a nice job. So this guy is no slouch playing Division II baseball.
Native of East Amherst, New York, as the wind is breezing from left to right. One-two from Groen. Is a breaking ball hit in the air. Down the right side, Stefan chasing after it. He makes the running catch in foul territory, and that is the second out of the inning. Now Cole Hollins, the designated hitter, to the plate for the Oilers. Hollins initially was supposed to be the right fielder tonight, but a quick lineup change just before the start of the game resulted in Hollins being the designated hitter, and Jimmy Webb, who was slated as the designated hitter, he's now in right field.
And Jimmy Webb seems to be the strongest player on this team, or having the strongest summer season so far.
First one is a breaking ball that's high to Cole Hollins. It's ball 1. The count is 1-0. Hollins, also out of Canisius College, one of 2 players on this Oiler roster from Canisius. Graduate of Orchard Park High School.
Hollins is 14 for 38 on the season coming into this ball game.
1-0 fastball finds the upper part of the zone. It's strike 1. The count evens up at a ball and a strike.
But Eric, he is batting a .368. He's scored 6 runs, but he has 10 strikeouts, which leads this team.
And there are some words being exchanged between the home plate umpire and the Oiler dugout. They are not happy with the home plate umpire tonight.
Well, after you're losing your starting pitcher, which we assume is what happened, and then the heckling is just going to continue from the coaching staff.
1-1 here to Hollins. Is a breaking ball well outside. It's ball 2. The count is 2 balls and a 1 strike to him.
And Eric, you want to know the best part about only facing this team once? There's nothing that we need to hide from them. We can expose all of the weapons tonight. We can bring the cat out of the bag, if you will, because we're only going to see him this one time. Let's get a win.
But from the Flames' perspective, it's also the same thing on the other side
right.
for the Oilers. One meeting between each team in the Eastern and Western Division every season. The only one between Olean and Onondaga. As Hollins hits one in the air pretty deep to left center field. Cherno will make the catch in the gap for the final out of the inning. Oilers go down 1-2-3 again, and we're on to the bottom of the 4th inning with the Flames up 1-0 here on Team Line. Back at OCC Stadium for the beginning of the bottom of the 4th inning between the Oilers and the Flames. Flames up 1-0. The new pitcher on the mound as a result of the ejection of Kyle Warner is Brian Bizarro out of Finger Lakes Community College, a native of Olean, New York, graduate of Olean High School. Morgan, how has he done so far this season?
Well, he's appeared in 3 games, has pitched 6 complete innings, surrendered 7 hits, 2 walks, has 4 strikeouts, but has an ERA of 1.50.
First one to the leadoff man, Colin Matthews, is a pitch low and away. It's ball 1. The count is 1 ball and no strikes.
And Eric, I think Colin Matthews has a really good comparison to Adam Gordon.
Pitch is on the inside corner for strike 1. The count is even at a ball and a strike. You could definitely say that defensively, for sure, because we have seen some spectacular plays from both of them in the field. As the 1-1 is grounded towards short. Good hop for Higgins. He throws down to first base. It is past the first baseman, O'Connell. Matthews racing for second base, maybe for third. He takes the turn, but stops at second base with a 2-base error to begin the bottom of the 4th inning. An E6 charge to Kevin Higgins after the throw was in the dirt. Flames offense is coming alive based on a good hit, and now a lucky break. Man in scoring position with nobody out, as time is called at the request of the catcher Mike Beimel, who goes out of the mound to talk to Brian Bizarro.
And it's funny, Eric, you mentioned the errors. There's another error, and it could cost the Oilers another run.
2 productive outs could get another run home for the Flames. First one to DiFilippo's in the air, pretty deep to center field. Tago racing to his left. He makes the catch just in front of the track and slips after that. Matthews, as a result, into third safely. Very easily. Instead of it being a play at third base, and now there's 1 out and a runner on third after the productive out from A.J. DiFilippo.
It brings up Adam Gordon in the big position, and Adam Gordon is one of the major RBI threats on this ball club, Eric, as he has 4 of them to this point. He's 10 for 35 coming into this ball game.
Getting a lot of at-bats with the Flames, and he's getting used to the level of competition here in the New York Collegiate Baseball League. As the first one to Gordon is grounded to the right side and through for a base hit past the infield, which was playing in. Matthews scores easily. Gordon is running for second. He's in safely. Gordon catches the Oilers infield off guard to come up with an RBI hustle double. And it's 2-0 Flames.
Well, Eric, it's Adam Gordon. What else do you expect? He's always making the hustle plays. He knew could get there on time, and he does it. Sacrifices his body, slides in, and look at that. Another Flames runner in scoring position.
So we've seen an error in the scorebook and a huge mental error for the Olean Oilers defensively here in this half inning as Peterson pops one up behind home plate. Beimel was about to go after it, but it gets out of play and hits the roof above us. Strike 1, the count is 0-1 to Peterson.
I love to see that out of Adam Gordon, though, because it inspires the whole dugout. Everyone's very invested into this game now, seeing him set the tone early.
And it shows the awareness on the bases as the 0-1 is a breaking ball low and away. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. Shows the awareness because there were 3 Oiler infielders between first and second base. The shortstop Higgins, the second baseman Cecere, as the breaking pitch is low for ball 2. The count is 2 balls and 1 strike. And the first baseman O'Connell, all between first base and second base. And they were all just standing around, waiting for the right fielder Hollins to throw it back into the infield. And Gordon, behind him, got second base as the breaking ball swung on miss for strike 2.
And Eric, I know you played sports in high school and throughout your life. Those are the kinds of guys you want to go to battle with night in and night out.
I played Little League, but I was a big-time hockey player, and that was my mantra. Hustle, give 100% all the time, as Peterson fouled it away to the left side. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And one last little note on Adam Gordon. We never have seen him take a night off. There hasn't been a game where he's just like, you know what, we're down a couple of runs. I'm not going to slide in and try to make this diving catch for a fly ball or whatever the case is.
Peterson loses the bat as he swings and misses at the breaking ball. The bat finds the dugout, and that is the second out of the inning with, I guess, style, Morgan?
I think that's going to be on the not top 10 on SportsCenter tonight because that was a slip out of his hands. He'll probably be getting ridiculed for that for the rest of the season.
You know the phrase slip of the tongue. That was a slip of the bat right
Yes,
there.
it was.
Brian Hart, the second baseman, with a runner on 2nd and 2 away, and he hits one in the air, a pop-up right side. Going after it is O'Connell. He leaps and he can't make the play. The ball did stay in the area in the field, but it was just out of reach for O'Connell. Count is 0-1.
And having this 2-0 lead for the Flames is so big right now because of Gunnar Groen and how he's pitching on the mound. He's really completely stopped all offense from the Oilers so far in this ball game. So the Flames are really helping him out on the offensive side.
Hart, meanwhile, to lead off the 3rd inning, he attempted a bunt single, but he was out as the throw down to second base after the pitch is not in time to try and pick off Gordon. No signal from the home plate umpire, so that looks to be a ball. The count evens up at a ball and a strike. Here's a 1-1 from Bizarro. It's a breaking ball that finds the dirt. Gordon thought about trying to get third base, but he saw that Beimel kept the baseball in front of him.
Going back to the nugget you dropped on me the other day about him being a receiver in high school, he reminds me of a Julian Edelman.
Perfect comparison as Hart hits one in the air towards center, but he hit it right at Tago, and that will be the final out of the 4th inning. Morgan Chapman takes over play-by-play for the 5th and 6th innings coming up. It's 2-0 Flames after 4 here on Team Line.
Well, welcome back to the top of the 5th inning on the Onondaga Flames Team Line live stream. I'm Morgan Chapman alongside Eric Moon. Gunnar Groen getting his 5th inning of work, Eric, and he's looked very impressive so far.
Oh, he's been spectacular, keeping the pitch count low. Something we talked about in the pregame, he's a pitcher that he pitches to contact.
Right.
He doesn't get strikeouts, he doesn't walk batters, he's just consistent out there. And so far, he hasn't struck out a batter tonight, but he's retired the first 12 batters he's faced.
Can't beat that production as Kevin Higgins digs his cleats into the left batter's box. Had a fly out to Adam Gordon last time he was up. We saw him in the 2nd inning. He's the first pitch for Higgins. In there for a strike. And Gunnar is just in a different world right now on the mound. Really locked in. He throws hittable pitches, but he doesn't throw the meatball, which is going to be trouble. 0-1 count here for Higgins. And Trace Peterson has done a terrific job behind the plate, stopping all of the wild pitches that we haven't really seen. As I say that one's just slightly outside for a ball count evens up at 1-1. But ever since Coach told us that there was going to be a battle for that catcher's position, Peterson has been absolutely dialed in. 1-1 on Higgins as the wind continues to whip around here on Onondaga Hill. This one's cut down the third base line, but it's going to be a long strike for a foul ball. Count goes to 1-2.
Well, getting back to that catcher battle, Peterson goes into that battle with a big advantage as we see Riley Glenn doing his best best Usain Bolt impression, getting the baseballs to the home plate umpire. Riley Glenn, a fun guy.
Yes, he is.
To be around, fun guy to see. He just loves the game of baseball.
He sure does. Here's the 1-2 delivered. Chopped down to the first baseline for a foul ball, but you mentioned that there's a lot of guys that are characters on this team, and I think that's what it makes it light, it makes it fun, and it brings people together, especially during hard times. There are losing streaks, and this team has been on a couple of small losing skids, but had the nice win last night and trying to collect 2 in a row here at home. 1-2 payoff, here it is, and it's going to hit him. So Higgins is going to be hit by a pitch for the first base runner of the ball game for the Oilers.
Well, and you talk about how much the team chemistry is building.
Yeah.
For the Flames. We've seen it since the first home game against the Rochester Ridgemen in our post-game interviews with them.
Yes, we have.
We've seen this team has great chemistry. Any team with great chemistry is going to have some shenanigans behind an interview with a teammate of theirs, and we've seen in virtually every interview to this point.
Here's the first pitch for Jimmy Webb, and Eric, you were on the other side of those shenanigans. Gabe Golob repping his NYU sweatshirt, and when Corbin Paxton was being interviewed by you, he turned his head around, threw the sunglasses on, but Corbin was able to, keep his composure out there, and he did a nice job of finishing the interview up with you. Here's the 1-0 delivery. It's going to be low for a ball. Count goes to 2-0 on Jimmy Webb. Quick note on Jimmy Webb. Coming into this ball game, Eric, batting .447, 17 for 38. Having a heck of a season here in the first 10 games.
He's been dialed in from the get-go. It takes hitters typically longer than pitchers to get used to the level of play in the NYCBL, but Jimmy Webb has just been dialed in from the get-go.
He sure has. Had the fly out to Cherno last time we saw him. This one inside for ball 3, as after Gunnar Groen hit Higgins with the pitch, and ever since then looks like he's starting to slip up just a little bit. See if he can find his rhythm once again, because Gunnar has played fantastic baseball up until this point. Flames lead 2-0 here in the top of the 5th. 3-0 is in there for strike 1, and Gunnar Groen keeping himself alive. I'd like to see if he can battle himself back into a full count.
Well, that's a big strike for Groen because he's just trying to find his rhythm after losing it when he hit Higgins.
3-1. Here it is. It's in there for a strike as Jimmy Webb tosses his bat. That's the second time we've seen the Oilers have that late reaction. And again, as you're the home plate umpire, that's a little bit of disrespect to him. So for the next pitch, if it's questionable, it's probably going to go towards the Flames.
Well, if you're any batter on either team, especially tonight, you just can't do that.
No, you can't.
You got to wait for the pitch to be called, whether it's a strike or a ball. And with how deliberate the home plate umpire is with his calls, Webb was running out of the box at least a good second before the home plate umpire even made his call.
And you know what, Eric? I love when the home plate umpire stands his ground. He's there for a reason. He's getting paid to do this job, to provide this service for both teams. And this is how he's going to call the game. You have to obey by his rules. So 3-2. See the payoff as Groen steps off the mound. Higgins still over there at first base. If you're just tuning in, he was hit by a pitch to start off the top of the 5th inning. 3-2 is the count. First base runner of the ball game for the Oilers. As the pickoff attempt, not in time, just keeping him honest over there at first base. But Gunnar has pitched a terrific ball game up to this point. He's 3 up, 3 down through 4 innings. Trying to get back into his rhythm. Battle all the way back into a 3-2 count. Here's the payoff. Cut on down the third base line. Nice silky mitts down there. I'm going to give it to him. Scooped up the bare-handed ground ball.
Yeah, Brian O'Connell Jr. brought those silky mitts with him tonight. Second great play down the third base line.
Footwork and concentration is what it takes to have the silky mitts, and obviously a pair of silky mitts. 3-2 is the count. See if Gunnar can get the strikeout. This one's cut up into the stands. And a terrific at-bat from Jimmy Webb as Riley Glenn hustles out there and hustles back. His 40 time has to be insane.
I don't know his 40 time, but it's got to be pretty good. And, of course he's going to keep sprinting to the home plate umpire when his teammates are cheering him on from the dugout.
Sure is doing a nice job keeping things light in the dugout. Here's the payoff outside. And it's a walk either way for Jimmy Webb. So runners on first and second with no outs here as the first walk surrendered from Gunnar Groen. And it's a perfect timeout by pitching coach, I should say, Robert Anders. And Coach Robert Anders, he's not a big guy on talking anyways, especially to people that aren't his players, as I've run into him about 6 or 7 times at Bryan and Stratton, but really have only had a couple of words exchanged with him. A real nice guy, but just not a big talker. But when he's in there, I heard him talking to Gabe Golob after the game as you guys were packing your stuff up last night, and I went to go grab the guys for the interviews. And he was giving Gabe, some words of encouragement and telling him how much of a terrific job he did last night. And it's obviously he did do a terrific job after surrendering 5 runs in the first and then battling himself all the way back into a 109 pitch count and getting the win.
Well, when it comes to being a pitching coach, you just got to know what to say to your pitchers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you say, you just got to say the right things to your pitchers to, get the best performance out of them.
Well, Mike Beimel stepping into the batter's box here, the catcher on the ball game, as had the ground out to Gunnar Groen, lays down the bunt, but a small ball being played, and Gunnar's just going to scoop it up, give it to Mike Stefan for the first out of the inning, but he does his job, advances both runners in the scoring position, and now the Oilers have a chance with Logan O'Connell, a pinch hitter coming into the ball game. Number 30 is going to step up into the batter's box.
Kevin Mooney out of Randolph-Macon College, graduate of Jamestown High School. Not Jamestown, New York, Jamestown, Virginia. The more famous Jamestown, but of course that's coming from a native of Virginia right here. Didn't get a whole lot of action at Randolph-Macon this year. Just 3 at-bats, didn't record a hit. Only played in 3 games.
He's doing a nice job for this Oilers team. He's batting a .308 on the season. 7 RBIs, so it's exactly why he's put into this position. 2 runners in scoring position with potential to tie the ball game up here in the top of the 5th inning. Here's the Groen, and he's going to have to duck out of the way from that pitch. So that one gets away from him. We're seeing Gunnar start to struggle just a little bit. No one warming up in the bullpen, though, as Coach Robert Anders has full confidence in Gunnar to work himself out of the situation. And, we probably have one of the better coaching staffs in this league. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. No disrespect to the other coaching staffs, but I tell you, that one's missing outside for ball 2. But back to my point, Eric, I think head coach Mike Cordero, his mind's right. He knows baseball. He knows what he's doing with the lineups. Robert Anders, Dave Dennis, Will Chapman, all those guys, they work their tails off to prepare this team night in and night out.
Well, the coaching staff, for the most part, pretty low-key, away from coaching, but, they say the right things to these players to get the best performance out of the team night in, night out. Maybe not the best record to this point, but 100% from these players.
100% is for sure. Kevin Mooney watches ball 3 blow by, and Gunnar Groen could be going for his second surrendered walk if he cannot find the zone here.
And give credit to the Olean offense for getting Gunnar Groen out of his rhythm. They've had some quality at-bats from the 4th inning on, and now a chance to score.
Here it is, 3-0. In there for a strike, so Mooney's not going to pull a Jimmy Webb. He's going to stay in the box and wait for the home plate umpire to signal strike, as he has just a slight delay when he signals that strike. But either way, runners on second and third, 1 down here in the top of the 5th inning. Flames lead 2-0, but could be changed in a hurry with this guy up. This is Kevin Mooney, 7 RBIs on the season, batting a .368. Here's the 3-1. Cut on back towards the screen. Gunnar Groen works himself back into a 3-2 count. Last time, surrendered the walk to Jimmy Webb. This time, looking for a different outcome.
Well, that was a pretty good pitch to Mooney, as the fastball was unhittable on the inside part of the plate. Mooney didn't get all of it. It was just a little jam shot back to the netting.
3-2 count here. One down. Let's see what Trace Peterson, Robert Anders, and Gunnar Groen have dialed up as time is called for Mooney. As he realizes the position he's in is huge right now for this ball club, as the Oilers have made a handful of errors, mental errors, errors on the field that have allowed the Flames to get out to the 2-0 lead, but in position to tie it up. Here's the payoff. Down the middle, cut back towards the screen. We're going to do the 3-2 dance once again.
Well, something worth mentioning is that, personally, I think the worst lead in sports is a 2-run lead.
Yeah.
You know, at least when it comes to baseball and hockey, a 2-run lead or a 2-goal lead is the worst in all sports, because when you lead by only 1 run, you know, you're on edge trying to keep the other team off the scoreboard. When you're up 2, sometimes you tend to relax a little too much.
Sure. We'll see if that's how the Flames are handling themselves. This one's cut right back towards Gunnar. Holds him at third. Beautiful play by Gunnar Groen. How about that, Eric? Checks the runner at third, stares him down, and then delivers a nice throw to Mike Stefan.
Well, that's something we didn't see out of Ole, and not on the specific play, but the awareness out there.
Yeah.
Groen looked off the runner at third base. Higgins, you know, that's what you have to do in that scenario when you snag the ground ball at the mound with a runner on third base. Make sure he isn't going home, then throw it to first for the out.
As Niall Doherty is going to step into the box here for Gunnar Groen. This one gets past Trace Peterson. There's the mental error. First pass ball from Trace in a while. It's going to surrender a run. So Kevin Higgins is going to come from third to score the first run for the Oilers. Jimmy Webb advances to third. And you really, if you're going to give up any runs, that's the one you don't want to give up.
Well, I think Gunnar Groen just gripped the fastball a little too tightly on that one because the release was just a little late. I think Peterson and Groen was trying to throw a fastball on the lower outer part of the plate, but it was a little too low and too outside, and it got by Peterson pretty easily.
And Eric, you're going to like who's warming up in the bullpen. I'll get to that after this pitch, as the 1-0 count here, trying to regain some of that momentum is Gunnar Groen. Pitch in there for a ball. Count goes to 2-0. But Eric, over in the bullpen, one of your favorite pitchers on this ball team, Jimmy Flahive, warming up, the sidearmer out of American International College.
Well, he's gotten a few outings for the Flames so far this year, but he's been spectacular in those outings for the most part. Did give up a couple runs last time against the Spartans, but he's been solid.
Sure has. There it is. Finds the strike zone. Count goes to 2-1. Runner on third is Jimmy Webb. 2 down here as the Flames still hold the 1-run lead. Just need to get one more and they'll escape this tie ball game situation. Time called as the Dandelions are blowing around out there, and also some other things out on the turf as the wind continues to gust around the ballpark here. It's been a stormy day as the sun finally starts to break, and just you can feel that in the air all day long. There's going to be a storm at some point. Here's the 1-2. Popped up to Chernow. Gets a read on it, ranging back, and collects it for the third out of the inning. So Flames are going to strand one for the Oilers, but they do make that one crucial error that gives the Oilers their first run of the ball game. Score is Flames 2, Oilers 1 heading into the bottom of the fifth. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the Onondaga Flames Team Line live stream as we have to get to a substitution made by the Oilers at first base. Number 35, Alex Fisher, coming into the ball game. Out of Columbia University, Eric, another Columbia person, and he knows A.J. DiFilippo and Jack Cherno pretty well, I assume. So Mike Stefan's going to lead us off here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Mike Stefan reached on a walk in the third inning, came around to score one of the 2 runs the Flames have on the board. This one not going to be in there as Brian Bizarro comes back out for his second inning of work.
Well, Mike Stefan is the most important at-bat in this game because he was the first one to crack either pitcher. I'll get to that in just a second.
As that pitch is going to miss outside for ball 2.
Yeah, because he was the first one to have, a huge quality at-bat.
As that one's chopped, it's going to get past the second baseman, and a base knock for Mike Stefan as he toys between first and second. Mike Stefan is so consistent. You always can rely on him to have quality at-bats. Go back to what you were saying, though, Eric.
He's having a great night at the plate now, 1 for 1, reached on a walk. His at-bat went almost 10 pitches in that third inning. He drew the walk. He was the first base runner of the night for either side, and that was important. The Flames got off the schneid. They got a base runner. He got the second on the block by Kyle Warner, and he came around to score on the hit from Jack Cherno with 2 outs.
Now, Mike Stefan isn't the fastest player on this roster. It's probably one of the reasons why he plays first base, as Jared Grosguth digs into the left batter's box. First pitch on Grosguth, missing outside for ball. But, Mike Stefan, not the biggest threat to steal over there at first base, but Jared Grosguth saw him hit the bomb last night, as I mentioned earlier. Let's see what he has in store. That one outside as Beimel cannot corral it in his glove, and count goes to 2-0.
Well, that was a pitch out. I'm not sure why they were pitching out for Stefan, but it must be that Stefan's doing his job at first base. You don't have to be the speediest guy, to be a distraction on the bases. And if you distract the pitcher, you're doing your job.
That pitch in there for a strike, and that's kind of what Brandon was talking about last night. It doesn't take the fastest guy to play or to steal a base in any baseball game. It's just really the baseball IQ has to be there. But Mike Stefan with about a 2-step lead, and he's going. And this one's skied up out to right field. Stefan might want to get back, or will he? As this one's to the fence. Mike Stefan rounding third base. And it's going to be a ground rule double. So a ground rule double, and Stefan is going to hold up. Flames on the unlucky side of that one is Jared Grosguth, and the wind got a piece of that one.
Well, the wind got a hold of it, and, we saw some great power from Grosguth last night. He absolutely destroyed a baseball to center field. This one was a little sneaky. He got under it a little bit to right center field, but he got enough of it for the wind to carry it a little deeper than we expected, at least from here. And it got all the way to the track and one-hopped the wall for a double.
Well, here's Jack Cherno. He already has the RBI single on the afternoon, or evening, I should say, as he chops one back to the pitcher. Stefan's going home, but it's going to be fouled off of, must have been his body or something.
Fouled it off his front foot.
And that explains that, but how about the gutsy approach by Mike Stefan to steal home there? And maybe the suicide squeeze could be on here, Eric.
Well, it might have been a hit and run, too, because Cherno... It was probably a hit and run because Cherno was just swinging.
Either way, though, I know that you're a fan of the suicide squeeze, especially with a 2-1 lead. Try to get back to the 2-run lead that they had earlier.
I'm a fan of it when it works.
Right.
And so far, in this league at least, I've seen it work every time a team has tried it, at least when they get the bunt down.
We've seen it called a handful of times as there he is, squaring the bunt. Suicide squeeze is on, and look at that. And he's safe. Think about that, though, Eric. Probably if you scoop the ball up and throw it to him, it's going to be there. He tries to do it all in one motion as Bizarro makes a mental error there, and it's going to score another run for the Flames.
Well, he tried to do it very quickly because Stefano was hustling down the line. With a suicide squeeze, you can't go all out when your teammate at the plate squares up the bunt, because if he misses the bunt, you're, for the lack of a better word, screwed on the base paths. You're pretty much out right then and there. But it's a good job by Stefan to beat it down the line, to score the run in Cherno as
Now-
well to get on base.
And Mike Ruggierio's going to square the bunt. Coming home is Jared Grosguth, but they're going to be able to make the play. And he's out. But going to third base is Cherno. So back-to-back suicide squeeze attempts by the Flames. They must be listening to Eric Moon up here because the suicide squeeze is on for the Flames until further notice.
Well, I wouldn't have tried it in the next at bat with nobody out of the inning and a runner on third base, but now you're still in a good spot. You have runners on the corners with one away. A productive out, at least, can get another run home in this inning and extend the lead to 3.
Well, you sure can, as last time Colin Matthews was up, he reached on an error, an overthrow. It was scored as an E6. That one missing outside for a ball, but either way, Colin Matthews has been very consistent when he's been in the lineup. He doesn't usually start every game, but when he comes in, I mean, last time you and I saw him, Eric, was against the Syracuse Spartans. He made that diving catch in right field, and I can still watch the replay in my mind.
Well, it was just a perfect day for Matthews.
This sure was.
Both at the plate and in the field.
This one ripped on, missed, though, and count goes to 1-1 for Colin Matthews.
And one thing I wanted to get to for a second, Olean had the great execution to gun down Grosguth, trying to score on the bunt from Ruggiero, but nobody was covering third base.
Exactly. I don't know what that was all about, as that pitch is going to be in there for strike 2 quickly behind the count here. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Colin Matthews. But again, Eric, it's another silly mental error. What's going on? You know, you should definitely know where you should be on those situations, as Matthews has to jump out of the way from that one.
Yeah, 3 guys don't have to try and make one play that the pitcher and catcher can make by themselves. You know, the third baseman, Battaglia, is charging in, yes, but he's got to gun it down back towards the third base bag when he sees Cherno hustling and taking the turnaround second base, but he didn't see that. Olean, those defenders, they need to have their head on a swivel. They got to know what's going on in front of them and behind them.
They sure do, and here's the payoff. It's going to be inside. Excuse me, that's only that's now going to go to the full count. But Eric, my whole part on this is it was a walk. That's what I thought. It was a 3-2 count. The scoreboard was wrong. My book was correct as Colin Matthews draws a walk. But really nice job there by Colin Matthews. Bases juiced now for no one else but A.J. DiFilippo. But one last, going back to that point from Eric was talking about with Jack Cherno getting the third base safely. I mean, it's a lack of communication, especially in the game of baseball. One, before the game starts, you should already have that down as a team. But you have to be communicating with your teammates out there and saying cover the bag, or someone's got to be telling you if you're out of position to get to your position.
Well, the Oilers should know at this point that the Flames, you know, if they get opportunity to get a base on the base pass, they're going to take it.
Yeah,
and,
sure
you
are.
know, they're just, the Oilers, it's not as much of a lack of communication as it is a lack of awareness right now. Because, like I said, they don't have a head on a swivel right now.
Exactly. 1-0 count in there for a ball from Bizarro, but I think you're right about that, Eric, and I think it's just a lack of concentration at this point because it's still early in this game. You know, it's a close game. I don't know. 3-1's the score. Bases loaded for A.J. DiFilippo as he thinks about swinging at that. Good decision, though, as the count goes to 3-0, but I mean, how about A.J. DiFilippo? Bases loaded. The wind's blowing out towards right field, I would say, so if he gets a hold of a shot, he could definitely get it out here. We've seen the power already. He doesn't really need the wind to help him, but on a night like tonight, this one's chopped off the end of his bat for the first strike. But power is definitely on his side. Bases loaded with 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And I like Mike Cordero giving DiFilippo the green light here with a chance to bust this game open.
This one's out towards right field. See if he can make a play. And he can't. Here comes one runner will score. Cherno's going to score. Ruggierio's rounding third. On his horse is Colin Matthews. Ruggiero slides in. 2 runs will score on the RB 2-run double, I should say, from A.J. DiFilippo. As he celebrates out there at second base, go ahead and have your dance, young man, making this a 5-1 ball game.
Well, at this point, the Flames are just opening the floodgates. 3 runs here in the 5th inning, and they've scored all 5 of them since they got their first base runner. In the 3rd inning, it looks like a pitching change for the Oilers here in the 5th inning.
Pitching change is going to be made. We're going to step aside. We'll get you up to date who's out on the mound for the Oilers when we come back. Well, welcome back to Onondaga Hill, where the wind continues to whirl around the ballpark. Pitching change made for the Oilers, number 91. This is Jacob Morgan out of Palmdale, California. He's 5'11", 185. Played his college baseball this season at Jamestown Community College.
The one in New York, not the one in Virginia.
Thank you, Eric, for the clarification there. And what else we have on him?
Well, he's a graduate of Highland High School out in California, but at Jamestown Community College. 9 games, 2 starts in the year. Majoring in communication over there. And then in high school, he was a team captain and a Gold League Pitcher of the Year.
Wow. Pitcher of the Year. Let's see what he has in store for Adam Gordon. First pitch in the turf for a ball. But the wind's certainly picking up here. I don't think the Storms are out of the area anyway, so having the 5-1 lead for the Flames, if they can just get through the bottom of the 5th inning, this will be a complete ball game technically. So Jacob Morgan, this one's popped up, I should say, to the shortstop. Easy pickings for Higgins. 2 down in the inning.
Well, because the Flames are ahead in this game, the game actually is official at this point. Because the rule is that if the road team is ahead or the game is tied, the game has to go a full 5 innings. But if the home team is ahead, the game only has to go 4.5 innings to become official. I don't expect this game to be delayed, though, by thunderstorms. The chances were below 50%.
Look at Eric providing us with all kinds of information as Peterson watches strike one go by. Eric Moon, meteorologist, part of his resume as well. 0-1 count here. Let's see if Jacob Morgan can get out of this jam situation. Runners in scoring position as Peterson doesn't pull back the check swing in time. And count goes to 0-2. So Trace in a position to either drive in a couple of runs or strike out. Last time he did strike out, bat flew out of his hand. Morgan gets the sign. Here it is, chopped right to the shortstop Higgins. Easy pickings, can of corn over the first base, and that will retire the side. So Flames are going to strand 2 runners, but they do the bulk of their damage on the bat of A.J. DiFilippo driving in 2, and the sacrifice bunt, or the suicide squeeze, was on by Jack Chernow laying it down, Mike Stefan driving it in, and we'll be right back here on Team Line. Welcome back to the Onondaga Flames Team Line live stream. I'm Morgan Chapman. I'll be doing a solo 6th inning as Eric Moon takes the headset off, and he's just going to be analyzing the entire game from the right side of me. Gunnar Groen comes back out for his 6th inning of work, and coming up to bat, Joey Battaglia. The third baseman had the fly out to Jack Chernow, a bunch of flyout victims in this ball game. First pitch in there for strike 1. So Gunnar comes back out firing. Gunnar Groen has really been a a handful on the mound, if you will, for the Oilers, as he's only allowed the one run, which was scored on a silly pass ball. But other than that, he has been very, very strong. First 4 innings, 3 up, 3 down. Pitch high, missing for a ball count, evens up at 1-1 for Battaglia. As we saw the starting pitcher in this ball game for the Oilers, Kyle Warner, get ejected early on as he pitched 3 shutout innings, but this one he's going to hit him in the head. So Gunnar Groen, I don't know if it's the wind or the grip on the ball. Either way, hopefully Battaglia is okay. Hit by a pitch right in the head. He seems to be fine as he trots down to the first base line. Mike Stefan checking on him. That's just the kind of guy Mike Stefan is. Checking on all base runners, but give him a second to recover from that one. Good thing these guys wear helmets in this game. As Brian Tago comes up to bat for the Oilers. 0 for 2 on the night. Last time had the line out to second base. So this one is going to be out there for a ball on Tago. And as Eric takes the headset off, the one guy he's very familiar with comes up to the plate. And he had a very strong at-bat. That line out to the second baseman wasn't really the story, as I believe it was in double digits for the pitch count. He was fighting off all kinds of foul balls last time against Gunnar Groen, and see if he has in store another battle here. Pitch in there for a strike, count evens up at 1-1. Runner on first base is Joey Battaglia. And if you're just joining us, Flames lead the Oilers 5-1 in the top of the 6th inning. As Groen's going to check back at first base, but Battaglia is back in time. Tago plays his college ball at LaSalle University. He's just finished his junior campaign, batting .250 coming into this ball game, 3 for 12 on the season. Collected 5 walks, 3 stolen bases as the check is back in time. Mike Stefan almost had trouble with it, but was able to show off his hops. Gunnar checking Battaglia again, making sure he doesn't have a big lead. Gets the sign for Peterson, delivers. And that's going to be a ball called out by the home plate umpire. And the Oilers have had a little bit of a problem with the home plate umpire. We've seen a couple of guys trot down the first base line expecting a walk, and it really was a strike, or a pitcher thinking it was a strikeout, and it really wasn't. So we saw the ejection occur. We saw some words exchanged between the coaches, but ever since then, looks like they have a better control on it, as that pitch is going to just miss. Breaking ball, just missing the zone. Count goes to 3-1 on Gunnar Groen. Gunnar wipes the sweat off his forehead, tries to dial himself back in. As we're here on the Team Line Wednesday night edition of baseball. My broadcasting partner, Eric Moon, has stepped aside for a moment. Just need to give those lovely pipes a rest. 3-1's the count. Here it is. It's going to be low for a ball and a walk for Tago. So Tago's going to take first base. Battaglia is going to move up to second base. And this brings up Saucier, Dom Saucier, as a mound visit is brought on by pitching coach Robert Anders. And they're just going to discuss things with Groen, as he had the hit by pitch, surrenders the walk, back-to-back plays that he probably regrets. Doesn't look like, well, it looks like Flahive's still warming up, but I'm not sure if his night's over. Anders probably just checking on how his arm feels, and if he can keep going, they're probably going to let him keep going because he deserves it. He's really done a nice job so far. And looks like Groen's going to stay in the game. Trace Peterson's just going to have a couple of words with him, but other than that, they're just going to keep it going here, bringing up Dom Saucier, the second baseman. Back-to-back pop-outs to Mike Stefan. One was a little bit further than the other, but either way, Saucier comes into the box looking to drive in a run or so to get this game tied up, or at least chip into the lead. They won't be able to tie it with this one. Battaglia toying with Gunnar. This one's going to be at least a base knock. It's down And here we go. Let's see if the show's on as he holds up the runner, Battaglia at third base. Nice throw in by Colin Matthews. And I know Eric can't talk to me right now, but I'd really like to kick it to him because I know Colin Matthews, him and I have seen it in Genesee, or excuse me, we saw it against the Syracuse Spartans. He can make those throws. He can throw you out at home from right field. So smart decision to hold the runner at third. So a nice single there from Saucier, and Cole Hollins coming up to the batter's box, diving in against Gunnar Groen. Bases loaded for Hollins. Hollins had the fly out to left to start the game, fly out to center. His last at bat and back in the fourth inning. Here it is, chopped right back to Groen. This could be two. Steps on the bag, Ruggiero, and going to be able to make the play as Mike Stefan. Runner's going to score. But nice effort from Ruggiero. Again, this is a guy who's just getting acclimated back into the starting lineup. He's had a bunch of games off and just not being able to make the double play, but gets the one out at second. Runner's going to score. That is Battaglia coming up next to bat for the Oilers, number 24, Kevin Higgins. Runners on the corners for the Oilers. This one, hard cut made by Kevin Higgins, but unable to get there. So Cole Hollins is on first, and Tago is on third. 0-1 for Kevin Higgins, the shortstop, as checking over at first base on Cole Hollins is going to grow, and Oilers chip back into this one. 5-2 to be exact is your score here in the top of the sixth inning. Jimmy Flahive continues to warm up in the bullpen for your Onondaga Flames. Could turn two again with the double play at second base. This one cut on. Here's the opportunity for the double play. Ruggiero over to Brian Hart. Brian Hart to Stefan. Got him. Double play. Turn it twice, says the Flames, and they'll get out of this inning only giving up one run. We're going to step aside on a team line. We'll be back with the bottom of the second inning. Well, welcome back to the Onondaga Flames Team Line live stream. Jacob Morgan coming back on the mound for the Oilers, stepping up, digging his cleats into the left batter's box is number 5, Brian Hart, 0 for 2 on the night. But Brian Hart is a player, no matter what kind of slump he's in on the offensive side, he's intangibles out there in the field is really what makes the difference. This one cut on and missed for strike one, but this guy can make all the plays from Bryant University. Part of that double play that was just turned by Mike Ruggiero over to Brian Hart to Mike Stefan. This one chopped foul off the end of his bat. Count goes to 0-2. But Jacob Morgan has come on and shown to be a tough opponent on the mound. 0-2 to be the count. For Hart, here it is. Breaking ball, just getting a piece of it to stay alive is Brian. This game is blowing by. It's 8:40, and we're already in the bottom of the 6th inning. Last night it was 8:40, and I believe we were in the 3rd inning. Or maybe the 4th. Who knows? This one way outside for ball 1. As earlier when I told the same thing to Eric Moon, he corrected me quickly because myself with my old age getting to me, it's one of those things. 1-2 pitch for Brian Hart. Chopped right to the third baseman. Nice snag by Battaglia for the first out. It's going to be a liner to the 5. Mike Stefan coming up to the plate. Mike Stefan has had his name all over this ball game over there at first base, making the usual plays. At a Canisius College, he had the duel early on with Kyle Warner in this ball game before he was ejected. Kyle Warner didn't get the best of that as he was walked. First pitch is a strike. Mike Stefan is 1 for 1 on the night. Reached on a walk, came around the score, had the single. Back in the 5th, came around the score as well. This one chopped right back to Jacob Morgan, not going to be able to make a play because it's off the end of his foot. 0-2 count. And to me, that shouldn't count as a strike because you just took one off the body and you need a second to recover. But we'll see if Mike Stefan, he's a tough kid, see if he can work out of this jam. 0-2. As head coach Mike Cordell might want to have a word with him just to check on him, make sure he's okay. 0-2 is the count for Stefan coming back into the batter's box as he walks it off. And that's just one of those situations where you can hear your father saying, hey, walk it off, you'll be all right. Jacob Morgan delivers the 0-2. Breaking ball right back to him. Should be easy pickings for Higgins over the first. And there it is for Fisher. So 2 down, 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning, bringing up Jared Groskuth. Jared Groskuth, who had the ground rule double last time he was up. Jared Groskuth, this will be the last time I mention it, but he did have a home run in the last ball game, so first pitch as he watches it go by for a ball, but Groskuth has all kinds of power. We saw some of those Bonnie's scouts out there in the Genesee game. Eric and I had the pleasure to meet them. Looking at Jared, as a bunch of Division I colleges are actually looking at Groskuth. That one's going to be ball 2. Count goes to 2-0. But Jared definitely is, I'd say his talent level is the mid-major Division I to the best Division II programs. As that pitch misses for ball 3. And he started the season as our third baseman. A.J. DiFilippo came in, kind of kicked him out of that spot, but for a good reason. A.J. DiFilippo definitely deserves to be a starter. Then we've seen Groskuth bounce around, play a little bit of second base. DH seems to fit him really well. As that pitch is going to be ball 4 for a walk. Nice at-bat there from Groskuth. Giving new life to the lineup as Jack Cherno comes up 2 for 3 on the night. But both hits, well, they're tied with RBIs. So he has 2 singles, 2 RBIs to his name. Jack, one of those new arrivals, or was a new arrival at this point. He's been with the team what feels like forever. Playing center field, he's really cemented the outfield as Adam Gordon himself and Colin Matthews have done a real nice job. This one popped up to the third baseman as he slams his bat down. Battaglia collects it for the third out of the inning. Well, we're going to step aside on Team Line, but don't go anywhere, folks, because you'll be able to hear the beautiful pipes of Eric Moon when we start the 7th inning here on Team Line.
Welcome back to OCC Stadium for the 7th inning here on Team Line between the Olean Oilers and the Onondaga Flames. Flames have a 5-2 lead as now it's 5-6-7 in the Olean Order to begin this top of the 7th inning. A lot of words that start with the letter O in this game tonight. First one of Jimmy Webb, the right fielder from Gunnar Groen, is a breaking ball that's outside for ball one. The count is 1-0.
And Jimmy Webb is the stud in the lineup for the Oilers as he came into this game batting a .468. Reached on a walk back in the fifth and had to fly out to center in the second.
Peterson setting up towards the outside corner. And here comes the 1-0 from Groen. It's hit in the air high and pretty deep. Cherno racing out towards right center field. The right fielder Matthews on it. He makes the catch. And that's the first out of the 7th.
Eric, this outfield that we have right now, or they have right now, I should say, the Flames, having Adam Gordon, Cherno, and Colin Matthews out there, all three of those guys are studs. They have wheels that can make all the plays. I love it.
Well, the Flames defense, unlike the Oilers defense, has been one of their strengths so far on the year. We talked about the Oilers in the pregame, 19 errors coming into this game in just 10 games. Flames, they only have 5. As the first one to Mike Beimel is fouled away to the right side. Strike one, the count 0-1. And it's worth noting that, yes, Groen did allow his first base runner in the 5th inning, but he didn't allow a hit until Dom Saucier singled in the last inning. So he had a no-hitter for 5 innings tonight. As the 0-1 is a fastball that's well high for ball one. The count evens up at a ball and a strike.
And I think there's two things that have been the Achilles heel of this team so far this season, Eric. Runners left on base and the pass balls. I mean, not so much in this game as the one scored the one run, but we've seen it hurt them other games that definitely could have had them have a couple more wins in the win column.
1-1, fastball grounded towards second base. A slow hopper for Brian Hart. He throws on to first in time and on target for the second out of the inning. Easy 4-3 putout. And now the batter is the first baseman, Alex Fisher, his first at-bat of the night for the Oilers after coming in to play first base after Kevin Mooney was the pinch hitter in the top of the 5th for Logan O'Connell. Fisher listed as a pitcher on the Oiler roster, but as you can see tonight, also a hitter. Only one at-bat with Columbia University this season as the fastball's high for ball one. The count 1-0 as Gunnar approaches 80 pitches on the bump. Fisher from Edmond, Oklahoma, graduate of Heritage Hall High School. In high school, he won 2 state championships. Those championships came in his last 2 seasons as Fisher fouls it to the backstop. Count evens up at a ball and a strike.
How many pitches is Gunnar at, Eric?
He is at 77 right now, approaching that 80 pitch mark.
Furthest we've seen him go. But man, he deserves to be out there. He's been working his tail off, and as he steps off the bag, his time's called. Count's still 1-1, but I mean, Gunnar is just really, we've seen him grow up right in front of us.
And the Flames starters just getting better and better with every start. As the 1-1 breaking ball's well inside for ball 2. The count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. And he's not the only starting pitcher to develop as the season goes on. It's something you expect from your pitchers overall. You know, Gabe Golob last night, yes, gave up 5 runs in the first inning, but after that, smooth as silk on the bump against the Saltcats. As here's the 2-1 from Groen. It's a fastball way high.
Well, Eric, I think
3-1.
I think that not only Gunnar Groen, but we've seen a lot of players change the way that they've played baseball because they weren't getting reps in college. You know, their freshman year, they had to sit by the seniors, and that's just how it works. You come here to summer ball, you get adjusted to game speed action, you get out on the field making plays, and these guys are more mature than they were when they came in, and they look comfortable out on the field.
3-1 from Garone as a fastball popped up right side. Stefan going after in foul territory. He will
Made it.
make the catch in foul territory. He was in an area that we couldn't see from here. The signal was made by the home plate umpire, but away from our view. But he makes the catch, and we're on to the 7th inning stretch. Oilers go down 1-2-3 in the top half of the inning. We'll see if the Flames can extend their lead in the bottom of the 7th. Back at OCC for the bottom of the 7th inning. Flames ahead 5-2. 2-3-4 in the Onondaga order in this inning. Mike Ruggiero, the shortstop, to lead things off against Jacob Morgan, who has been very good on the mound since coming in for Brian Bizarro to end the 5th inning. Retired the 2 batters he faced in that inning. As the first pitch to Ruggiero is a breaking ball low and in for ball 1. Count is 1-0. And then in the 6th inning, Morgan faced 4 batters. Retired the first 2, and then gave up a walk to Grosskooth as Ruggiero chops one foul, picked by Colin Matthews in the on-deck circle. A little fist pump for Matthews also with those silky mitts. Everybody brought their silky mitts tonight.
They sure did. An extra nugget of information I was telling Eric and Mike Ruggiero's father yesterday is just Mike is a magician with the cards. I mean, you'd give him a stack of cards, and he knows every trick in the book, I tell you. And I was talking to him after the Genesee game before we got on the bus, and he was saying, you know, at Wagner, he had a lot of time on his hands in between games and on bus rides. So he spent his time on YouTube researching how to find out how to do these card tricks. And he's impressed the whole team, myself, and the coaching staff as well. So if you ever get a chance to meet Mike Ruggiero, trickster with the cards.
1-1 grounded left side and snagged it short by Higgins, but an infield hit for Ruggiero. Hustling down that first base line, no chance for Higgins even if he decided to throw it to first.
It's got to feel good though. First base hit in your first start back from the hamstring pull. Hamstring looks fine, Eric, as he was hustling down the first base line.
Oh yeah, he's at 100% now. Definitely getting the start tonight, as Mike was telling us. His dad, Mike, not Mike himself.
Mike Sr.
Mike Sr., I guess we can call him. He was telling us that once he's in the starting lineup, he's at 100%. As Matthews swings and misses at a breaking ball for strike 1, the count is 0-1. And one thing I want to get back to from the last half inning, the development of these guys, you know, in the NYCBO as the breaking ball finds dirt. Ball 1, the count evens up at a ball and a strike, and we talk about the development, of course. But it's a little easier for pitchers than hitters to get adjusted quicker. As the 1-1 finds dirt again.
Well, how about
2 balls and 1 strike to Matthews.
We talk about the development of players, Eric, and how about Colin Matthews? Coming off that gray shirt, Tommy John surgery, that's a long road to recovery. And he's back, and he looks recovered for sure.
He lines one foul to the right side off the netting for strike 2. The count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But the one guy I want to mention, that another starter that's developing on the year, we can't forget about him given how much of a character he is, Riley Glenn.
Oh, my gosh.
From his first start to his second against the Saltcats.
It's night and day, honestly.
Morgan with the throw over to first is not in time.
No, with Riley Glenn's first start, and that's what when I interviewed him, that's what he was talking about. The grip on the fastball was the biggest difference in that ball game, and after he gave up the home run, as Morgan's going to try the pickoff attempt once again. But, I mean, Riley Glenn, that second game against the Saltcats, he was lights out. He was dialed in from the start, never looked back, and I hope when we see him again, he's the same pitcher we saw the other night.
Last pitched on Saturday, so maybe he'll pitch tomorrow. Throw to first again for Morgan out in time. That's 3 consecutive pickoff attempts to first base to try and keep Ruggiero honest. Morgan deals to the plate this time, and Matthews chops one foul off himself.
And the last little thing about the player development I was going to go into, Eric, is just the fact that, these players were raw coming into their freshman campaign at any college, especially Division I college, where they're behind some seniors. Then they don't get a lot of playing time, still raw, but the Flames have the opportunity to mold these players into the players they will become for their college careers.
2-2 to Matthews. Is hit in the air, high and deep down the left field line, but that will go foul for another foul ball. Another strike here.
Nice at bat
Count
from
still
Colin
at
Matthews.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, he is working the count here as the ball is thrown back towards the Flames bullpen.
Keon Taylor with the assist.
Mm-hmm.
Always can notice that Chaffey College hoodie.
2-2 to Matthews. Ruggiero faked the steal, and the pitch is in the dirt. Full count now, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I love hearing the stories about these players' parents coming out for the small stretch, taking some time off of work to come out and see here. Mike Ruggiero's father's here tonight, and how about the timing? Right when he gets back into the lineup.
And he's here for a little bit.
Yeah.
As when we talked to him yesterday, he said he was in town for a little while. As Matthews swings and misses at a breaking ball for strike 3, and that is the first out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Now A.J. DiFilippo, the third baseman, up to the plate, and he got a hold of one
Sure
to right
did.
field his last time up. The 2-run double with the bases loaded extended the Flame lead to 5-1 at the time. In the bottom of the 5th inning, Flames haven't scored since. First one to him from Morgan is a fastball that finds the outside corner. Strike 1, the count is 0-1. Overall, DiFilippo 1 for 3 tonight. Struck out swinging, also flied out to center field, but that ball was hit pretty good. As the 0-1 breaky ball is a beauty that finds the zone from Morgan. 0-2 the count.
Well, how do you get ahead of big batters? You throw first 2 pitches just like that, as Morgan has done, and now he has a couple of pitches to work with against DiFilippo.
0-2 here is breaky ball in the dirt for ball 1. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to DiFilippo.
And I think, Eric, this Flames team is on the verge of a winning streak. We can feel it building up, and then they just lose the momentum when they lose those close games. They're an opportunity to get their first 2-game winning streak here.
Pitch is well low and outside for ball 2. The count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Flames haven't, as Morgan just mentioned, Flames haven't won consecutive games all year. They're at a 4-6 record in 5th place in the very tightly contested Eastern Division as the pitch finds the dirt. Bounces away from Beimel, but staying at first base is Ruggiero. No chance to take second on that pitch.
Jacob Morgan had A.J. DiFilippo right where he wanted him and then surrendered 3 straight balls, and now DiFilippo could see a cookie right over the plate, as Eric Moon would say.
3-2. Popped him up in the infield. Calling it is the first baseman Fisher. He will make the catch, and that's the second out of the 7th inning. And as Adam Gordon, the left fielder, steps up to the plate, we get back to the schedule here. The Flames 4-6 on the year in the tightly contested Eastern Division. Sherrill, at this point, not really running away with the division, but they are the clear number 1 in the NYCBL East. But the Syracuse Spartans just behind them. They're above 500, starting to get going at 6-4. Everybody else, though, 500 or below. Cortland, Rome, the Saltcats, the Flames, too, as Gordon grounds one towards first base. It ticks off the glove of Fisher, and behind him, Gordon is on first with an infield hit. And Ruggiero stops at second base. Flames have 2 on with 2 out.
Again, hustle play by Adam Gordon. What else do you expect? Beats a throw after the first baseman can't corral it in his glove. But, you mentioned the Flames, the position that they're in, Eric, as time is called. Looks like going to have a discussion on the mound with the coaches. But, Eric, this is a time you and I can have a discussion about the league. And we haven't seen Sherrill. We haven't seen Rome yet. This is the first time we're going to see this team tonight. But we've seen Cortland. We've seen the Syracuse Spartans. the Flames could definitely beat them as a pitching change is made. And my last nugget here, we're going to step aside for a quick break. We'll be right back here on Team Line as the pitcher's going to warm up, and we'll get you information who it is.
We'll tell you all about him when we come back. This is Onondaga Flames Baseball on Team Line. Flames lead at 5-2. New pitcher on the bump for the Olean Oilers. It is Ian Kostvich out of Savannah State University. Native of Roswell, Georgia, graduate of Milton High School. And at Savannah State, he is majoring in history, but as a pitcher here with the Olean Oilers this season, this will be his 6th game already. He's pitched 5 1/3 innings to this point. He's allowed 2 runs, just 1 earned. The righty with a submarine delivery will face Trace Peterson here. The first pitch fastball finds the inside corner for strike 1. The count is 0-1. Josh Morgan's line, 2 1/3, 2 hits allowed, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. The 2 runners on base, if any of them score, they're charged to him. But to this point, he hasn't allowed a run, as the breaking ball is well inside on Peterson. Ball 1, the count evens up at a ball and a strike.
That submarine delivery, Eric, is tough to judge because it looks like it's coming right at you. Then it takes that curve back in.
Especially tricky for right-handed hitters as the 1-1 is on the inside corner. Strike 2, the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Trace Peterson.
I wonder if that's less wear and tear on your arm with that delivery, or is it more? I don't know about
Some pitchers
delivery.
convert to a sidearm or a submarine delivery. Pat Neshek comes to mind when you have a lot of arm surgeries and you need a windup that's easier on the arm. Time is called as Kostvich gets steps off the rubber. 1-2, the count still to Trace Peterson. And here it is. It's a chopper just over the glove of Kostvich. Barehanded at short. The throw to first is not in time.
Ooh.
Rather, it's in time, but Fisher was off the bag.
Be careful as the Oilers players are heated. See if they have any words for the second base umpire. But, man, Eric, I preach this. This is exactly why you try to hustle on every play. You're on your horse, and then we saw Peterson beat it out for a base hit.
He beat it out on the second throwing error of the night by the shortstop Kevin Higgins. And, the awareness coming back to, or lack thereof, coming back to bite Olean again as Hart lines one foul down the right field line. A strike 1, the count 0-1. We mentioned in the pregame they have recorded nearly 2 errors per game. 19 errors in 10 games coming into this one. They have 2 more errors tonight, and they've made a couple big mental errors in the field that don't go in the scorebook as the pitch is well inside on Hart. Ball 1, the count evens up at a ball and a strike.
You take the errors out of this ball game, Eric, and it could very well be a tie game 2-2.
A 1, Hart with an inside-out swing, a slow roller towards second base. The throw onto first is in time from Cecere, and now retire the side. Flames strand the base is loaded, but they still lead the Oilers 5-2, heading to the 8th inning here on Team Line. Welcome back to Onondaga Community College for the 8th inning here on Team Line. The Flames lead the Oilers 5-2, and the new pitcher on the mound is Jimmy Flahive out of American International University. Entering the game tonight, he had the second most innings on the staff at 10 innings, now the third most after Gunnar Groen's 7-inning start tonight. We'll talk about Gunnar Groen a little bit in just a moment. In those 10 innings, he's only allowed 2 runs. One of those runs was earned. He faces Niall Doherty to begin this top of the 8th inning. 8-9-1 in the Oiler order. First pitch off the end of the bat, drops in to right center for a base hit. And the leadoff man is on for the Oilers. Second hit of the night for Olean.
Similar start to Keon Taylor last night.
Yeah. Meanwhile, time is called as, from the looks of it, a change is being made. Looks like a pinch runner now for the Olean Oilers. We can't make out who it is from here. So Doherty gets on, and the pinch runner now for Olean. The batter, meanwhile, at the plate is the third baseman, Joey Battaglia, for sure.
Benjamin Flicker out there at first base. Took me a second to get a read on the number. We're number 15.
First one from Flahive is a throw over to first. He got him on the pickoff, and the Oilers are not happy. The first base coach and Flicker really upset with the field umpire. The whole plate umpire now pointing to the dugout. He has tossed a player from the Oiler dugout. We can't figure out who from here. We can't see who it is from here. But a player or a coach has been tossed from the ball game. The second member of the Oilers team to be tossed tonight.
Well, Eric, I'm going to go back to your original point in the pregame. It's errors, and you're letting this become, you're letting your emotions get the best of you in this situation. I know they're trailing. I know that was a big spot in this game, but either way, you cannot just say whatever comes to your mind, especially if you're a valuable asset of this team. And as the coach is directing one of his players, he's gone. He is gone, and trying to get an explanation as these coaches, but exactly, there's a coach over there, I think, giving a piece of his mind to his players right now, and you have to keep a level head. We just talked about it. You just mentioned to me how you're never too high, never too low, stay in the middle. I think it's the same thing with the Oilers team right now. I know this is a game, but definitely need to keep a level head out there.
Well, they definitely feel like the umpires are against them tonight. But one thing to make note of for sure, this is undoubtedly 100% true that the pickoff move from Flahive was spectacular.
Oh, don't even get me started.
On that play.
Flahive is by far one of the most underrated prospects coming into this league, especially from as the home plate umpires still trying to get them to calm down in the dugout. But Jimmy Flahive has definitely been the most impressive player to me on this team because, we talked about who we expected to do really well this season. We didn't really expect Jimmy Flahive. Comes in and he proves us all wrong.
Yeah, it reminded me of Andy Pettit with a pickoff move to first base. First one to Battaglia. Swung on, missed it. The home plate umpire has tossed another Oiler from the dugout. And that's 3 now tossed by the home plate umpire tonight. He is not fooling around.
And Eric,
down there.
he's actually directing the players to leave the dugout. He's not saying you're ejected, you can't come back in the ballgame. He's telling them to leave and get off the field completely. And he's going to stand there until he does. And at this point, Eric, I mentioned this earlier to you. I think I appreciate the home plate umpire standing his ground out there. But at this point in the ball game, if you're the Oilers, shut your mouth.
Got to have some team discipline out there, and it's something, the Oilers, they're 5-5 of the year. They fared better record-wise than the Flames, but they're not handling adversity that well tonight. Definitely not as well as we've seen from the Flames. The Flames last night came back from a 5-0 deficit to beat the Saltcats as the home plate umpire continues to wait. But the Oilers tonight, it's a relatively close game still. It's been relatively close for the whole night.
Well, Eric, this kind of gets back to my point with head coach Mike Cordero and how much of a better grasp he has on some of these teams. Not to disrespect the Oilers, but we've seen it from the Saltcats this year. We've seen it from a couple of teams where players are able to basically say whatever comes to their mind. Then it gets their team in trouble. Then there's just the delay that happens out there. But we haven't seen that from anyone on the Flames. We've never seen any Flames players get ejected. We've never seen the coaches raise their tempers where it becomes a distraction in the ball game. And from that perspective, I really appreciate what the Flames are doing and what they're trying to build here, setting a standard.
We did see some scuffling between the Flames and the Saltcats on Saturday night, but cooler heads did prevail. As Battaglia fouls one away to the right side.
And I tell you what, Eric, the next questionable call, I like to see what's going to happen.
Still hearing noises from the Oiler dugout.
As the Oiler players have been ejected are actually in the stands. And there's a coach trying to get a grip on them.
Got him looking on the outside corner. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Joey Battaglia. He goes down on 3 pitches.
Well, what do you expect? I mean, the home plate umpires fighting the whole dugout, the coaching staff, and everyone in between. So if anything was close on that third pitch, it was going to be called a strike.
Yeah, and that one, we've been talking about how the home plate umpire has been deliberate all night. The instant the ball hit the glove of Trace Peterson, called him out on strike 3 looking. Back to the top of the order, Brian Tago. The center fielder, first pitch, ground ball towards second. Good hop for Brian Hart. Throw to first is in time, and that will retire the side. So a makeshift 1-2-3 inning for Jimmy Flahive on the bump. Couple Oilers get ejected from the dugout, and we're on to the bottom of the 8th with the Flames up 5-2. After an eventful top of the 8th inning, the Flames come to bat here in the bottom of the 8th, still up 5-2 on the Olean Oilers. And one thing to note with the Oilers, Morgan and I talked about the previous half inning, the adversity facing the Oilers. Well, they're in quite the slump right now. Yes, they're 5-5 on the season, as Mike Stefan leads off the 8th inning. First pitch is a fastball over the plate for strike one. The count is 0-1 to begin this at-bat against Ian Konsvich, who gets his first full inning on the bump here in the 8th. A 1 swing and miss. Strike two, the count is 0-2. The Oilers start the year 5-1. They've lost 4 games in a row against the Wellsville Nitros twice, the Niagara Power once, and the Syracuse Spartans last night. As the pitch is outside for ball one, a waste pitch. 1-2, the count to Stefan. 1-2. Breaking ball well outside for ball two, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And speaking of that Spartan game last night, because it's a 2.5-hour trip approximately from Olean to Onondaga, as the fastball's outside. Count runs full out of 3 balls and 2 strikes. Good battle by Stefan here, working the count from 0-2 to 3-2. Second time tonight he's done that at the plate. And the payoff is chopped off the plate, snagged on a hop by Konsvich, and the toss to the first base bag is in time for the first out of the 8th inning. Jared Grosskut, the designated hitter, now to the plate. And so after the Oilers lost 13-7 to the Spartans last night, they didn't go home. They stayed in a hotel overnight in the area, and they came to the park with not nearly as much bus lag as they would have if they went home last night and came back for this one. First pitch is low for ball one to Grosskut. He's 1 for 2 on the night with a double in the 5th. Would have driven in a run, but ball bounced over the wall. Big cut and a miss at a fastball. It's strike one. The count evens up at a ball and a strike. And in his last plate appearance in the 6th inning, he reached on a walk, but he was stranded at first base to end the 6th. 1-1, fouled away to the right side. That'll get out of play. It's strike two. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Grosskut. Here it is from Konsvich. Breaking ball gets him looking on the inside corner. Looked like for a second it might have hit Grosskut, but that's the beauty of a breaking ball. Got him looking on the inside corner. And it's the second out of the 8th inning. Back to the top of the order, Jack Chernow to begin the 5th turn through the Flames order. He is 2 for 4 tonight with a pair of RBI singles. First one to the left-handed batter here from Konsvich. Misses the outside corner. Ball one, the count is 1-0. Flames schedule looks like this over the course of the next few days. Tomorrow night, they're back here at OCC to face the Cortland Crush at 7 p.m. as Chernow grounds one down the third base line. Stopped at third by Battaglia. The throw to first is not in time, and Chernow legs out an infield single, his 3rd hit of the night. He's on with 2 away, and Mike Ruggiero, the shortstop, steps up to the plate. So after the Flames host Cortland tomorrow night, they will head to Beaudry Park for a Friday night tilt against Cortland again. A 6 p.m. start, and then a day off. After that, the Flames will be the home team against the Syracuse Saltcats Sunday night at 5 o'clock here at OCC. As Ruggiero fouls one to the backstop, it's strike one. The count is 0-1. And the 2 games against Cortland are going to be huge in this Eastern Division race. Still a lot of games to play, but the games early in the season count as much as the games late in the season. In the standings, as the throw to first is not in time from Konsvich. Back-to-back games against Cortland coming up. After this one tonight against the Olean Oilers. As the pitch to Ruggiero is fouled to the netting above the backstop this time. Counters no balls and 2 strikes. So a big opportunity for the Flames to get an edge in that tight Eastern Division race. As Ruggeri swings and misses at a breaking ball for strike 3, and that will retire the side. Flames strand 1 in the bottom of the 8th inning, but they still lead the Olean Oilers by the score of 5-2 with perhaps half an inning to go. The Flames just trying to keep the Oilers off the scoreboard in the 9th inning. This is Flames Baseball on Team Line.
Welcome back to the Onondaga Flames live stream on Team Line. I'm Morgan Chapman taking over the play-by-play duties, but I'm with my broadcasting partner, Eric Moon. Eric, on the mound, a pitching change. Who do we got, and how has he been playing as of late?
Nick Garcia on the mound for the Flames. It is his 4th appearance as a pitcher on the season. He's pitched only 3 1/3 to this point. Hasn't allowed a run. Just 1 hit, 1 walk, and he struck out 7 batters.
Well, he's done a nice job in the time we've seen him on the mound, but he's also been DHing as of late. So, as Dom Saucier leads things off, popped up. Looks like could be an easy picking for Colin Matthews. It is. First out of the inning. Eric, it's 9:25. We're in the top of the 9th inning, and we're 2 outs away from going home. I can't believe how fast this game's blown by.
Well, this reminds me of the Genesee game, except it's a lot more fun. The Genesee game was fun, but the Flames weren't winning.
Exactly.
You know?
Everything's better when the home team, the Onondaga Flames, are picking up a victory, hopefully, here. First pitch for Cole Hollins. He's going to watch strike 1 blow by. But, Eric, I know we always do the post-game interviews. Usually if the team wins, we're definitely probably going to have a chance to do that tonight. Anyone you have in mind, I'll let you answer that after Nick Garcia delivers this one. And A.J. DiFilippo with a nice play, makes it to Stefan, out number 2. So an easy 5-3. Eric, anyone you have in mind to interview?
Well, one player
Call
for sure
dibs?
that's going to be interviewed is Gunnar Groen after his 7-inning start tonight. He was spectacular. Another guy, a consistent hitter for the Flames. He
Jack
was 3
Chernow?
for 5 on the night. Drove in 2 of the Flames' 5 runs. Jack Chernow
Yeah.
as well.
I was
A.J.
gonna say him too.
DiFilippo and a 2-run double in the 5th inning.
I was
Couple
definitely
good
gonna,
players
I was
tonight.
definitely going to mention both of those guys. You mentioned DiFilippo as well, trying to get new guys every time. Pitch outside for ball 1. But Nick Garcia, how about the inning he's having on the mound? Coming in the close and providing a valuable spark off the bench. Kevin Higgins watches ball 1 go by. Counts 1-0 here with 2 down. Swung on and missed. Count goes to 1-1, and quickly the Oilers are down to their last out of the game. But either way, Eric, I think if I interview Gunnar, I might be closer to his height. You might not be. As
Oh,
he's
definitely not.
a tall guy. It's cut on and missed there, and Higgins is just swinging for a home run to get something on the board. But as Eric's going to check Gunnar's height, I think.
I am almost a foot shorter than Gunnar Groen. He's 6'5", I'm 5'7".
I think I'm 6'2", but I'm wearing dress shoes that have a little bit of a heel to them. strike three, and the ball game is over. How about that from Nick Garcia? Nice job coming in to close out. Well, now we're going to shift into the Onondaga Flames post-game show here on Team Line. I'm Morgan Chapman still, and that's still Eric Moon to the side of me. And Eric,
And to the dismay of the rest of you.
Eric, 5-2 is the final score here. Flames get back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Take the fans through what you saw from this team.
Well, it's another great performance, and this time they didn't have to come back from a 5-0 deficit, which is always a good sign, you know? It's good when your team scores first. The Flames were the first team to solve the starting pitcher tonight, as both pitchers were spectacular to begin things. Of course, Kyle Warner only went 3 innings because he was ejected at the end of the bottom of the 3rd inning. But the storyline really is the Flames' discipline versus the Oilers' lack of discipline. Because the Flames, you know, they were great on the night, and they let the Oilers argue with the home plate umpires throughout the home plate umpire and the field umpire throughout the whole game. The Flames just sat aside, said, "Hey, we're gonna do our thing. We're gonna win this ball game, whether you like it or not." The Flames did that. They got the lead in the 3rd inning, and they didn't look back from there.
Sure thing. And going into a new segment on our post-game show, I'm going to deliver my own, and I'm going to let you do the same, my own defensive MVP and offensive MVP. Defensive MVP, it's got to be Gunnar Groen because of the outing he had. Pitched 7 innings, allowed 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts. But Eric talked about this earlier. Gunnar is just a player who allows pitches to be hit, but doesn't allow the big hit that's going to get a base runner. And my offensive MVP is someone that Eric's also mentioned already, Jack Chernow. 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs in this ball game. Very consistent out in center. How about you, Eric? Who do you got on offense and defense?
You know, we're used to seeing spectacular plays from this Flames defense, but they didn't need an all-out diving catch tonight or a leaping catch at the wall tonight. So I'm going to go with Mr. Consistent at first base, Mike Stefan, because, you know, first base, it's not just standing around and cover the first base bag, catching throws from your fellow infielders. There's a lot more to it, you know. Stefan made some picks on throws that were in the dirt. He made a couple nice catches near the fence and foul territory. Solid night for him over there at first base. And then offensively, the other Columbia guy, A.J. DiFilippo, biggest hit of the night, the 2-run double. That finished the Flames scoring at 5. The score was 5-1 at the time, but, you know, he was good on the night.
Sure was.
Showed some power.
He sure was good on the night. And, Eric, I think that's going to just about wrap things up here from OCC. But from Onondaga Community College, the final is going to be 5-2. Flames get their first back-to-back wins on the season. I'm Morgan Chapman for Eric Moon. Have a good night, everybody.